acceleration is pretty decent. The only thing I would say, guys, is that this bike feels way slower if I'm with the passenger compared to Yamaha R3. One thing I want to say is that brakes are actually pretty strange. You have to squeeze them really hard. This bike is surprisingly smooth. I have no problems whatsoever shifting gears, and I had problems shifting gears on many bikes, you know, right? And this time Kove has surprised me a lot. Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. So today I decided to talk about Kove 321RR, and I compare this bike to Yamaha R3. So without further ado, let's start. So the first thing I want to say is the parallel twin engine. So the engine has 322cc. It's as powerful as 39.5 horsepower and 29.5 newton meters of torque. So the engine, in terms of the power, is very similar to Yamaha R3. Kove has upside down non-adjustable front suspension, and from behind we have non-adjustable monoshock. On the front wheel we have 320mm single disc with 2-piston caliper, and from behind Kove has 240mm single disc. This is hands down the lightest bike in the class. So the curb weight of this bike is only 151 kilograms. So this bike is just super light. Here, as we can see, it has tubular steel frame, and the most remarkable part about this bike is one-sided swing arm. The seat height of this machine is 795 millimeters, which would be approachable for most riders. The tank capacity is 13 liters. This bike has pretty nice electronic package. So it has two modes, Sport and Eco. You can turn off ABS, which is a really cool feature which I didn't see on other bikes. And here we can see that it has very nice and beautiful fully colored dash, and it has a bunch of information on it, so it's really useful. Design of this bike is very beautiful. I like these edges. Kove 321RR has LED headlights and taillights, which work really well. The only thing I don't like about this bike is that on the superficial layer it feels pretty cheap. So as we can see, the plastic is pretty cheap, very thin. It's easy to break. I can actually break it with only one finger of mine. These winglets are made of cheap plastic, if you ask me, so I don't really like the way they look, they feel. As you can see, it's really easy to break. You don't have to apply much effort. But yeah, I hope that they do something to the performance of the bike. My passenger told me that the seat is very comfortable and way more comfortable compared to Yamaha R3, which is a good thing. In my case, as a rider, I would tell that ergonomic wise, this bike is way too sporty for me. So the foot pegs are really high. I am really cramped. If you're looking for a track bike, this would be an awesome thing. But for a city, it's a bit too tedious. Alright guys, so this was my short specifications overview, and it is time for me to ride the bike. So let's go. Okay, so I squeezed the brakes as hard as I could. Shit, I'm squeezing the brake so hard in the end. You see, just now, I'm trying to brake as hard as I can, and I do squeeze the brake as hard as I can. And only then I can stop rapidly. So on this machine, first off, I need to tell you that not a single time did I feel ABS working, which is a good thing, because ABS is still here. But what I'm trying to say is that if you really want to stop this machine rapidly, if there is an emergency on your way, you have to get ready to squeeze the front lever as hard as you can, really. And actually this brake is really good, but it takes some time to get used to that amount of power that you have to apply in order to stop the bike fast. But again, once you do that, I would say that the bike stops pretty well. This bike feels absolutely great and awesome in corners. I think if you have a track around, this bike would be a really nice toy. I can see that Kove actually, they're not trying to make the best city bike, but what they're trying to do is to create a really nice, I would say top-notch track-oriented machine. And they did it with the Kove 450RR, and even this Kove 321 feels the same way. The sound of this machine is just incredible. It sounds really good. It sounds actually as if it's Yamaha R3, which is cool. I really love the sound of Yamaha R3. I really like the sound of this machine. These two bikes are really mean chihuahuas. This is how I feel riding these machines. They really want to go faster than they can. So I think that suspension is a bit softer on Kove 321 compared to Yamaha R3, but it's still kind of rigid. So Yamaha R3, suspension-wise, I think is very sport-oriented. Even though this bike is way more sport-oriented, as I already told you, but suspension-wise, it is a bit softer, and I feel as if it swallows bumps a bit better. One really cool thing to notice about this machine is the dash. Actually, I'm not a big fan of those dashes. I don't care whether this is a TFT dash, whether this is an LCD dash, I don't care, but the cool thing about this bike is that it packs a really big amount of electronics, so I'll show you right away. So it has two ride modes, sport and eco. Other than that, it has ABS modes, which most bikes don't have. So as you can see right now, it has dual channel ABS. Then you can actually turn off the rear ABS, and then you can turn off ABS completely, which is a cool thing. As far as I'm aware, most bikes don't have this feature. Yeah, such a beautiful machine, right? Alright, let's talk about this bike in details. This machine has parallel twin engine, which has 42 horsepower and 29 newton meters of torque. But according to the article I read, it has only 36 rear wheel horsepower and 26 rear wheel newton meters of torque. But to be completely honest with you guys, I still feel as if this bike is pretty rapid. So this bike has diamond frame, whatever it means, and the carb weight of this machine is 171 kilograms. The seat height is 780 millimeters, which is very approachable for everybody. Suspension on Yamaha R3 is pretty hard. So in the front we have upside down 41 millimeter fork, and if I'm not mistaken, the suspension comes from KYB. The front suspension is not adjustable, as we can see, but I would tell you that they found a sweet spot, and bike feels great, and it's really maneuverable, and it's really good for the traffic. And from behind, Yamaha R3 has a monoshock over here, which comes from KYB as well. From behind, Yamaha R3 has 220 millimeter single disc. Of course, Yamaha R3 has dual channel ABS, and ABS is good. It's not too obvious, so I like it a lot. Over here we can see aluminum swing arm. Look at this face, guys. It's so beautiful. And of course it has LED headlights over here, very beautiful, and taillights. Yamaha R3 doesn't have ride-by-wire. It has cable throttle, of course, which is super reliable. And Yamaha R3 surprisingly doesn't have slipper clutch, and it's pretty hard. Over here this bike has LCD dash, which looks good. I can read everything I need. It has all the information you need, so I don't want to change it to TFT dash for sure. I think that this is one of the most beautiful bikes for beginners that money can buy. Alright people, so this was my quick overview of Yamaha R3 from 2021. I love this bike a lot. And yeah, let me just hop on the bike again and I'll ride for some time. And let's see how it goes, guys. See you in a moment. But guys, it feels as if the bike sticks to the asphalt. It's so stable. I cannot say enough good things about the stability of this R3. I did not expect that. And one more thing I really want to talk about is that this bike is super reliable. It's only 2 years old, but guys, this machine has been through a lot. So it has 29,000 kilometers, and I'm about to crash 30,000 kilometers on this machine. And it feels as if I just took it from the showroom, to be honest. It feels so good. Nothing is vibrating. Everything's super smooth. Actually, the gearbox is just incredible. I can find neutral every single time. And once I try to ride really fast, I do not slip into neutral. Some people might say that they don't really like that LCD dash. I don't care, guys. Actually, that LCD dash is perfect for me. I love it so far. I can read absolutely everything, and it gives you all the information you need.
So far so good, guys. The only thing I wish upon this bike, probably, but actually I feel like this bike doesn't need that, but I'll mention it. It doesn't have slipper clutch, and for some people it might be a problem, but for me it's kind of alright. I feel like this bike feels even better without slipper clutch. I don't know why. Probably because this bike gives me a feel of a very sharp tool, which ain't supposed to have those redundant features. And on top of that, guys, I would say that the suspension of this machine is very hard, which is a really good thing for a sport bike. This hard suspension gives me that extreme confidence over the bike. But it's not so good for some bumps. But you ain't supposed to ride R3 on bumpy roads, right? Gosh, I feel so good about this machine. If I would be living somewhere else, not in China, and I would be picking up the first bike, guys, probably this would be my first bike. And you know what? I would not sell it once I learn how to ride. I feel like I would keep this bike because this bike just feels great. I would leave this bike for a track if I would have one. But unfortunately, Sindao has no tracks. But overall, guys, somehow I do feel like this bike is better than Ninja 400 for me. It's a bit slower, but it's way more fun to ride, and it feels more stable. The suspension is a bit harder, which makes this bike more suitable for traffic like this. I feel as if I'm a bullet which is flying through the traffic, guys, which is just an incredible feeling, I'm telling you. I feel as if I have to be riding with that music from Matrix, you know, tune, to tune, to tune, to tune, tune, tune. And this is just an incredible feeling, guys. I'm telling you, like, this bike is pushing me hard. But again, if you're a reckless person like I am, probably this bike might be a bit dangerous. But listen, guys, look how maneuverable it is. I feel as if I'm just able to squeeze through everything. I'm telling you, guys, I feel so good. This bike is so much fun. I love it so far. Yeah, great. Yeah, probably you'll never be as fast as those guys on mopeds, but still. Ooh, yeah. Rushing through the traffic on Yamaha R3 like that, as if it's nothing. Oh, I feel so good, guys. Yeah. Just an incredible machine. All those other bikes, they do not push me as hard as this machine. I'm telling you. There is something about Yamaha R3 which makes me ride like this. And guys, I'm riding with the passenger, and it doesn't feel as if bike is suffering from the passenger. You know what I'm talking about? This engine is not too punchy, it's not too powerful, but somehow it feels fast even with the passenger. So much so that I feel like this bike is faster than Ninja 400 with the passenger. The first time I saw Yamaha R3, I was sure that I would feel cramped. So far so good. I feel great. I feel as if I can ride this machine for a very long time. I do think that this is one of the best bikes for the city. Look at that. Just so good. Yeah, guys, I probably already mentioned, but it feels as if I have mounted the Bullet, and it feels as if I'm flying in the Bullet once I'm in the traffic. This is just an incredible feeling. Alright, guys, as a summary, I would say that I prefer Yamaha R3 over this bike. Even though this bike is great, but it's just not perfect for where I am. I live in a city, and I think that Yamaha R3 is a way better bike for a city. It's way more comfortable, it feels better in the traffic, it's more stable, it feels more well planted on the asphalt. Meanwhile, I think that this bike would be better for a track. And unfortunately, I have no track around, so I have to go with Yamaha R3 and with riding in the city. And again, guys, I'm telling you, Yamaha R3 is just a bullet. I feel so good and confident riding that bike in a city, it's not even funny. And guys, taking the difference in price, the rational option would be Kove 3-to-1. I feel like the difference is still there. I would say that Yamaha is probably more reliable, feels a bit more high quality, but taking that enormous difference in price, I feel like Kove is a better option overall. Those bikes are very close in terms of performance. Braking performance is really close as well. I would say that you need to get used to Kove 321 in terms of braking, but once you're there, this bike stops pretty well. Acceleration wise, I feel like these bikes are really close. I still think, this is my personal opinion, that Yamaha R3 is a bit better, is a bit faster, but power delivery is very similar. My biggest complaint about this machine is the lack of stability on a high speed and the materials. They feel pretty cheap. But other than that, this bike feels good. I feel like if I would be picking up one of those small displacement bikes, I would definitely consider this bike, taking how cheap it is. Alright guys, I think it's time for me to wrap it up. If you like the video, please leave me a comment below, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and I see you in the next videos guys. See you, bye.